Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. Today I'm pulling something out of the library for a game review. This is a reproduction of the Warriors of Barsoom, Warriors of Mars, the Warfare of Barsoom in miniature, 1974. I'm not sure if this is the very first TSR publication or one of the first half a dozen or so. Written by Gary Gygax and Brian Bloom. It's an attempt at a miniature war game for, warfare on Mars in the John Carter, era. I got this book to protect my original copy. This is a very, very hard to find book. Even this reproduction is actually just about impossible to find, and I'm pretty sure it's basically a bootleg because I got it in another country, not in the United States, a very long time ago. And I've had it in my collection, and I've read it several times, and I'm not going to lie, it's a bit clunky, but if all you want to do is simulate warfare, skirmish to epic battles between Tharks and Therns and Martians of all different varieties, as well as man-to-man combat versus, some of the creatures, the white apes, the apts and bants and things like that in the world of John Carter. Now, take into account this was written many, many, many years ago, almost 40 years ago. There was nothing else available, and miniature wargaming was in its golden era, basically. So this was actually a very, very interesting, very neat way to battle with miniatures. I believe at the time only Hinchcliffe had any John Carter miniatures, and they're I have some of their miniatures, and they're very dated. Let's just put it that way. I'm trying to be nice. They're not my favorite, but they do have a little bit of charm for those old school collectors. But as you saw last weekend, there are so many better choices. Even the heritage miniatures are leaps and bounds past these Hinchcliffe miniatures. I really was too young at the time to appreciate this book or to own this book in its original form, and I never really knew too many people who wanted to play John Carter miniature battles. I actually played some of the battles, but they were actually with the airships, which actually to me sounds like a lot more fun. Before I get to that section, I'm just going to show you a little bit of the artwork, just so you can, laugh along with me. It is very primitive artwork. My son, he could easily outdo this artwork, and without really trying. It's very primitive. It reminds me of artwork that I drew back in the 7th and 8th grade. But, and here's another picture, there's, it has a lot to be desired. And, these pages are blown up to about twice the size of the original, which doesn't do them any justice. If they were smaller, it's just awful. I mean, it's almost comical when it's been blown up to larger scale. But the place this book shines is the ship-to-ship combat. I know they had done Don't Give Up the Ship prior to or right after this book was written, and that's obviously a far more in-depth game. It's probably twice the number of pages, twice the effort, and 4 times the accuracy of that sort of battles. But it really is not a half bad game. There are a few other John Carter games I'm going to go over during this month, and they only get better. But for those really old school collectors, those purists who want everything in the collection, you know, this is how you get it. You start here, and you know, when before I got this book, I was actually able to read the book online from I don't remember the website, and I'm pretty sure it's no longer in existence. And even then, I knew what I was getting myself into. This book is really more or less just a curiosity or a collector's item for those hardcore John Carter fans like myself. You know, I'll never part with it, and I'll probably never actually game with it. You know, so there's your April Fool's video for the week. Um, I'm not gonna bag on it because I totally understand that back then this was all there was and people were grateful. It's there's a lot of old timer jokes that can go along there. All we had to eat was rocks and we were grateful for it type of thing. Um, but it still holds up its charm. It still holds up, you know, just a special spot in my collection because for you Dungeons and Dragons fans and Chainmail fans and things like that, there wasn't much else to choose from back then that I'm aware of when it comes to fantasy, miniatures, games, and I really wish TSR would have put their effort into a role playing game instead of a miniatures game, but I'm not sure about the timing if Dungeons and Dragons came out right after this or right before it. Um, and I'm going to go over a couple of the other John Carter games, and some of them are closer to role playing games. One is actually a role playing game, but I really wish that would have been the emphasis. But if you want a ship to ship combat game with the ships of Helium and Zodanga and things like that, that's where this book shines. So, gonna make it quick and wish you guys a wonderful Friday. Hope to see you guys all at Ten Cars Tavern tonight, and then of course Legion of Myth until the sun comes up. Hope to see you guys all there. I love you guys. Thanks for stopping by and putting up with my shenanigans and my little trip down memory lane. I don't get me wrong. I really love this book. I'm glad it's in my collection so that my original copy doesn't get messed up from just looking at it. But until next time, folks.